available for selection for Adelaide. Pat, you didn't look all that sort of healthy out there today.
Yes, I am. No, I felt okay. I was more not trying to run as opposed to being restricted to run. So yeah, felt all right. It was kind of got a bit tighter. I was going to have a bowl, but yeah, pretty happy managed to not bowl. So give myself a good chance.
Can you tell us what's wrong?
Just a small strain. So I think they're normally about a 1 weeker, and kind of if you bowl and make it worse, it can make it longer. But spend the next few days rehabbing, getting it right, and think it's a pretty good chance. I'll be good for Adelaide.
Just after the ninth wicket fell, you were warming up. If Nathan Lyon picked up the big wicket,
no, that was more a joke. That our team always gets into me that I only bring myself on once the tailoring. So I was taking the piss.
Pat, obviously, as well as rehabbing, there'll be a few things weighed up. Like, do you yourself, are you worried about the fact that there is another series to come this summer, plus a huge year of Test cricket ahead? Like, does that come into play a little bit? Yeah,
it was definitely the thought process the last couple of days. Don't really want to turn a 1 week injury into a 3-4 week injury, and you potentially miss the summer. So yeah, we'll weigh all that up. But as I said, I felt pretty comfortable out there. So yeah, give it a few days. It already feels pretty good. Physio might be less optimistic, but I think I'll be fine. I'm sure we'll have running and a bit of bowling to make sure I'm right.
What about Josh and Mitchell? How did they get through, do you think?
Pretty good, I think. They all say they're fine, but I'm sure they'll put their feet up for the next few days and see how they go. But yeah, no huge concerns.
So Pat, that one you turned into a 3 was just you taking it easy. It wasn't
I was going to say I saved 4.
You could have run harder if you wanted to, but
yeah,
you're making sure that you're okay.
Yeah, pain-free. So yeah, luckily we're in a good position that we could kind of take a couple of liberties.
Just one on the crowd for this match is sort of close to the average for a West Indies Test in Perth historically. Would you like to in future see less, or try to avoid starting a Test match on a Wednesday if you can? I know that there's scheduling complexities and having enough days between Test matches and all that kind of thing.
Yeah, it doesn't really bother me, to be honest. I think us cricketers don't really know what day of the week it is half our lives. Always want to obviously have big crowds and stuff, but I know there's 5 Test matches to spread out over the next 6 weeks or something. So yeah, however they chop it up. But yeah, the crowd that were here were great. I know back home as a kid, I always loved having WACA Test matches because it went into the night. So I always like to see bigger crowds, but they were great those that turned out.
And I'll just do a follow up. Yeah, so and just on a slightly different note, do you feel like the team is improving in terms of how you tackle those sort of 4th innings scenarios? Like, there's probably a few that stick in the back of the mind over the last few years where you couldn't quite get it done, or you did, and it got really close. Like, do you think that's something that you're improving on?
I hope so. I think we, the last few instances, in Pakistan here, I've just felt really, the whole squad have been really composed. Not just the bowlers, the fielding group out there. Just feel like we've given ourselves the best chance. We've kind of jumped in and out of plans when we've had to, but we've given them long enough to see if they worked or not. So yeah, it feels like we've got a really good method. It's not going to work, every time, but I think we're giving ourselves the best chance.
Pat, Mitchell Johnson in the paper today queried whether your injury, I know it's mild, may have been a result of not having much of a red ball build-up. Do you think there could be anything to that, or do you think it's probably unrelated?
I'd say totally unrelated. Played a couple of ODIs. It's pretty much physically, the best build-up you could have. Don't think so.
Just one on Nathan Lyon. Obviously, early in his career, there was a lot of talk about the ability, shall we say, of question marks to bowl teams out on day 5. The fact he came and took 6 for today, and has done so a couple of times in the last couple of years. Just how do you think he's actually improved his bowling to get to that point?
I think he's. I think he's got plenty of different tricks now. He's obviously always had a really good off spinner, but the way he moves around the crease, you saw him bowl over the wicket, round the wicket a lot. felt like he could beat him on the outside of the bat, or he could, bring bat pad into play. He just feels like, he's got a few different ways he can get a batter out, and he's happy chopping and changing between them. Perhaps more than earlier on in his career. I think one thing he's always been good at, but continues to get better and better, is he can bowl 25, 30 quality overs in a day, which, there aren't, a heap of bowlers around the world that can do that.
Pat, has Travis Head put a lot of work into his bowling this year? You mentioned Daniel Vittori when he did a quick interview on TV. Is it something that you've seen him really improve?
He's done a bit. I'm trying to think. He's always been, probably underused, to be honest, in that, even his first, when he first started playing ODI cricket, he was almost the fifth bowler, bowled a lot of overs. It's probably reaffirmed to me that maybe I should bowl him a bit more. Slightly different, his off spin, so I think you kind of think whenever he's bowling, maybe he's taking some of Nath's overs, but he just brings something slightly different, a bit flatter. Really impressed. He bowled quite a bit in Sri Lanka and Pakistan in prep.
And mate, I know you're confident about Thursday, but with the backup plan B, Steve to captain and Scott Boland to come in if that's needed.
Yeah, that'd be it. I think we're just working through now whether we bring in a couple of other people just as cover over the next couple of days, but just working through that.
You said a couple of people to take two people to replace yours.
More, really.
No, but that wasn't my question. Does the compulsion, do you have to separate that fact that you're a captain from your thinking about playing? Does that compel you to want to play more? And secondly, your assessment of the pitch?
I think it's a balance. I think it does add, to be frank, it does add a little bit of, I've got 5 tests and I want to make sure I'm available for all 5. It's always like that, but, a lot of the test matches you leave absolutely nothing left in the tank. But I think that's maybe me getting a bit older as well. The wicket, I thought, the first couple of days was good. I got probably a bit of the bounce and pace was out of it the last couple of days. Just a bit of hard slog there for a little while, the last couple of days. But it was a bit of grass on there, so it's good we got a result.
The fact that you had this unique opportunity of being a captain on the field where you weren't really so much thinking about your bowling or when you had to bring yourself home. Did you learn anything at all about captaincy in the last 3 sessions? Yeah,
it's funny. I was actually thinking that out there. It just could focus more on, field placements, giving different options to the bowlers, without having to think of, how I slotted myself into bowling. So it was a little bit different. Quite enjoyed it, to be honest, but much prefer bowling.
Pat, you weren't bowling, you've got the sore leg. Does that change your prep for Adelaide? Or you normally would have gone pretty easy, I presume, with a 3-day break. Do you have to prove that you can go full throttle before you play?
Not sure. I'd probably have a similar prep to Joshy and Starkey, which would be maybe a light bowl the day before. Now might be a bit different. Got to probably prove myself, have at least one bowl. But every test match is always a slightly different prep. So I'm not too bothered, but hopefully I'll pass the fitness test and I'm good to go.